What if I told you that everything you're chasing, success, money, confidence, freedom, isn't being blocked by the outside world, but quietly shaped by something happening inside your own mind right now? Most people spend their lives trying to change their circumstances, not realizing that the real control center of their life is invisible, silent, and operating 24/7. It's not luck, it's not connections, it's not even talent. It's the way you've been mentally programmed to think, believe, and respond. Right now, as you're watching this, your mind is either working for you or against you. Every doubt you've repeated, every fear you've accepted, every limitation you've agreed with, it's been building a pattern, and that pattern has been quietly shaping your decisions, your confidence, and ultimately, your results. But here's the truth most people never hear. If your mind was programmed one way, it can be reprogrammed another way. This video is not just motivation, it's a wake-up call. Because once you understand how your mental programming works, you can no longer ignore it. You'll start to see why you've been stuck, why certain patterns keep repeating, and why success sometimes feels just out of reach. And more importantly, you'll discover how to take back control. So don't just listen, pay attention. Because by the end of this video, you might not just feel inspired, you might start thinking differently. And when that happens, everything begins to change. The idea that thoughts shape reality is not a poetic statement. It is a practical mechanism that operates in your life every single day, whether you are aware of it or not. Every thought you repeatedly entertain begins to form a pattern, and those patterns gradually solidify into beliefs. Once a belief is established, it becomes a lens through which you interpret everything around you. You no longer see the world as it is, you see it as your mind has been conditioned to perceive it. If a person consistently thinks in terms of limitation, doubt, or fear, their mind starts to filter experiences in a way that confirms those thoughts, making challenges seem bigger, opportunities seem smaller, and risks feel more dangerous than they actually are. On the other hand, when someone intentionally cultivates thoughts of growth, possibility, and confidence, their mind begins to highlight opportunities, solutions, and pathways that were always present but previously unnoticed. This process happens largely at a subconscious level, meaning your actions are not just driven by conscious decisions, but by deeply rooted mental patterns that have been built over time through repetition. Your thoughts influence your emotional state, your emotions influence your behavior, and your behavior ultimately determines your results. For example, a person who thinks, "I am capable of learning and improving," will approach challenges with curiosity and persistence, while someone who thinks, "I am not smart enough," may avoid the same challenges altogether, reinforcing their own limitation. Over time, these small differences in thinking compound into massive differences in outcomes. The external results people experience, success, failure, growth, stagnation, are often reflections of internal thought patterns that have been repeated so consistently they feel like absolute truths. What makes this concept powerful is that thoughts are not fixed. They can be consciously chosen, directed, and reshaped. By becoming aware of your dominant thoughts and deliberately replacing negative or limiting ones with empowering alternatives, you begin to rewire your mental framework. This shift does not happen instantly, but with consistency, the new thoughts start to feel natural, and the beliefs they create begin to guide your actions in a different direction. The reality you experience is therefore not just a product of external circumstances, but a direct extension of your internal dialogue, constantly being molded by the thoughts you choose to focus on and repeat within your mind. The concept of subconscious programming centers on the idea that your mind is constantly absorbing, storing, and acting upon the information you repeatedly expose it to, often without your conscious awareness. Beneath your active thinking lies a deeper layer of the mind that does not analyze or question in the same way your conscious mind does. Instead, it accepts repeated ideas as truth and begins to operate based on them automatically. Every thought you dwell on, every statement you repeat, and every emotion you consistently experience sends signals to this subconscious layer, gradually shaping its programming. Over time, these repeated inputs form deeply ingrained patterns that influence how you react to situations, how you perceive yourself, and what actions you feel compelled to take. This is why habits feel automatic, because they are driven by subconscious instructions that have been reinforced through repetition. If someone constantly tells themselves they are not confident, the subconscious mind accepts this as a command and begins to generate behaviors that align with that identity, such as hesitation, self-doubt, or avoidance of opportunities. In contrast, when a person repeatedly affirms empowering beliefs, even if they do not fully believe them at first, The subconscious mind starts to internalize these messages and gradually shifts behavior to match them. This process explains why people often find themselves stuck in cycles they struggle to break, as their subconscious programming continues to drive the same responses and decisions over and over again. The environment plays a major role in this programming as well, because the conversations you hear, the content you consume, and the people you interact with all contribute to the messages being fed into your mind. Without conscious effort, negative or limiting inputs can quietly shape your internal narrative, reinforcing beliefs that hold you back. However, the same mechanism can be used deliberately to create positive change by consistently feeding the mind with constructive thoughts, clear goals, and empowering language. Visualization, affirmations, and intentional focus are tools that help impress new ideas onto the subconscious, especially when combined with emotion and repetition. As these new patterns take root, they begin to override old programming, leading to changes in behavior that feel more natural over time. What once required effort and discipline starts to happen more automatically as the subconscious aligns with the new beliefs you have installed, influencing your decisions, reactions, and overall direction in a way that supports growth and progress. The idea that your self-image determines your limits is rooted in the way you internally define who you are and what you believe you deserve, because this internal definition quietly governs the boundaries of your performance, decisions, and aspirations. Your self-image is not just how you describe yourself in words, it is a deeply embedded identity formed through past experiences, repeated thoughts, and emotional conditioning, and it acts as a psychological blueprint that your mind constantly tries to stay consistent with. No matter how big your goals are, you will find it difficult to achieve or sustain results that conflict with this inner image, because your mind naturally resists anything that feels unfamiliar or inconsistent with what it believes to be true about you. If a person sees themselves as average, undeserving, or incapable, they may occasionally experience moments of success, but they will often sabotage those moments or fail to maintain them because, at a deeper level, those results do not match their identity. This is why some people repeatedly return to the same level of results even after temporary breakthroughs, as their self-image pulls them back to what feels normal and acceptable. On the other hand, when someone develops a strong and empowering self-image, they begin to act in ways that align with that identity, making decisions with greater confidence, setting higher standards, and persisting through challenges because they see success as something that belongs to them. The mind constantly seeks alignment between identity and behavior, so if you truly see yourself as disciplined, capable, and worthy of success, your actions will gradually reflect those qualities without needing constant force or motivation. This concept also explains why external validation alone is rarely enough to create lasting change, because unless the internal image shifts, the external results feel temporary or undeserved. Changing your self-image requires conscious effort and repetition, as you must begin to challenge old beliefs and replace them with new ones that reflect the person you want to become. This involves not only changing how you speak to yourself, but also how you visualize your future and interpret your past experiences, reframing failures as lessons rather than evidence of limitation. As this new self-image becomes more familiar, it starts to feel natural, and the behaviors that once felt difficult begin to align effortlessly with your updated identity, expanding the limits of what you believe is possible and allowing your results to rise to match the new standard you have set within your own mind. Repetition builds belief because the mind learns not through a single powerful moment, but through consistent exposure to the same ideas over time, gradually accepting them as truth simply because they are familiar. When you repeat a thought, a statement, or an action again and again, you strengthen the mental pathway associated with it, making it easier for your mind to return to that pattern in the future. At first, a new idea may feel unnatural or even false, especially if it contradicts your existing beliefs, but with enough repetition, the resistance begins to fade and the thought starts to feel more acceptable. This is how beliefs are formed, not necessarily because something is objectively true, but because it has been impressed upon the mind frequently enough to feel true. The process works in both directions, meaning that negative and limiting beliefs are often the result of repeated exposure to discouraging thoughts, criticism, or past failures, while empowering beliefs can be intentionally developed through consistent mental practice. Affirmations are one example of this principle in action, where repeating positive statements about yourself helps introduce new ideas into your subconscious, but their effectiveness depends on consistency and emotional engagement rather than occasional use. Similarly, habits are built through repetition, as each repeated action reinforces the identity connected to it, gradually turning effort into automatic behavior. The brain is designed to conserve energy, so it prefers familiar patterns, which is why repeated thoughts and actions eventually become default responses that require little conscious effort. This explains why breaking old habits or changing beliefs can feel difficult at first, as you are essentially working against established mental pathways that have been strengthened over time. However, by consistently introducing new patterns and repeating them with intention, you begin to weaken the old ones while building new ones that support your desired outcomes. The key lies in persistence, because repetition without consistency does not create lasting change, and sporadic effort is not enough to override deeply ingrained programming. When you deliberately choose what you repeat, whether it is empowering thoughts, productive habits, or focused actions, you take control of the belief-building process and begin to shape your internal reality in a way that aligns with your goals. Over time, what once required discipline becomes natural, as the repeated patterns settle into your subconscious and start guiding your behavior, automatically reinforcing the beliefs that drive your growth and direction. The environment you place yourself in has a powerful and often underestimated influence on your mindset, because your mind is constantly absorbing cues from everything around you, shaping your thoughts, beliefs, and expectations without requiring deliberate effort. Every conversation you hear, every piece of content you consume, and every person you interact with contributes to a steady stream of input that your mind processes and stores, gradually forming patterns that influence how you think and feel. This influence operates subtly, which is why people often overlook its impact, yet over time it can either strengthen empowering beliefs or reinforce limiting ones, depending on the nature of the environment. If you are consistently surrounded by negativity, doubt, or people who settle for less, your mind begins to normalize those attitudes, making them feel familiar and acceptable, which in turn affects your own thinking and decisions. On the other hand, when you place yourself in environments that encourage growth, discipline, and ambition, your mind starts to adopt those qualities as standards, raising your expectations of what is possible and what is required to achieve success. This is not simply about motivation, but about conditioning, as repeated exposure to certain ideas and behaviors gradually programs your subconscious to align with them. The digital environment plays a similar role, as the videos you watch, the messages you read, and the information you engage with all contribute to your mental framework, influencing your focus and shaping your internal dialogue. This means that even when you are alone, your environment is still actively affecting your mindset through the content you choose to consume. The people around you are especially influential because their beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors can either reinforce your current mindset or challenge you to expand it. And over time, you tend to adapt to the norms of the group you spend the most time with. This is why individuals often experience significant changes in their thinking and behavior when they shift their environment, as new inputs create new patterns that gradually replace old ones. Being intentional about your environment involves making conscious choices about who and what you allow into your mental space, selecting influences that support your goals rather than undermine them. By consistently surrounding yourself with positive, growth-oriented inputs, you create conditions that naturally guide your thoughts in a constructive direction, making it easier to maintain focus, build confidence, and sustain progress as your mindset evolves in response to the environment you have chosen to engage with. The principle that action follows belief highlights the idea that what you do is ultimately driven by what you accept as true at a deep level, not just what you logically understand or momentarily feel motivated to pursue. While people often assume that decisions are based on rational thinking, in reality, most actions are guided by internal beliefs that operate beneath conscious awareness, shaping your level of confidence, your willingness to take risks, and your persistence in the face of difficulty. If you truly believe something is possible for you, your behavior naturally aligns with that belief, leading you to take initiative, embrace challenges, and remain consistent even when results are not immediate. Conversely, if you hold a belief that something is beyond your reach, your mind subtly discourages action by generating doubt, hesitation, and fear, causing you to delay, avoid, or abandon opportunities that could lead to growth. This is why two individuals with similar skills and resources can produce entirely different outcomes, as their beliefs create different levels of engagement and effort. Belief acts as an internal filter that determines which actions feel natural and which feel uncomfortable or unrealistic. And over time, you tend to gravitate toward behaviors that align with what you already accept as true about yourself and your potential. Motivation alone is not enough to sustain action because it is temporary and often influenced by external factors, whereas belief provides a more stable foundation that consistently drives behavior regardless of circumstances. When a belief is strong, it reduces internal resistance, making it easier to act with clarity and commitment, while weak or conflicting beliefs create hesitation and inconsistency. This dynamic also explains why people may set ambitious goals but fail to follow through, as their underlying beliefs do not fully support the level of action required to achieve those goals. Changing behavior, therefore, is not just about forcing yourself to act differently, but about reshaping the beliefs that make certain actions feel possible, necessary, or worthwhile. As you begin to adopt stronger, more empowering beliefs through repetition and intentional focus, your actions start to shift in response, becoming more aligned with your desired outcomes. Small actions taken from a place of belief gradually build momentum, reinforcing the belief itself and creating a cycle where belief and action continuously strengthen each other, influencing your direction and determining the results you experience over time. As you reach the end of this message, understand one powerful truth. Nothing you desire is out of reach once you take control of what is happening within your own mind. Your success has never been random, and it has never been reserved for a select few. It has always been connected to the patterns of thought you repeat, the beliefs you accept, and the mental programming you choose to live by every single day. When you change the way you think, you begin to change the way you see yourself, and when that shift happens, your actions start to align with a higher standard. This is where real transformation begins, not outside but within. The limits you once believed were real start to fade, new possibilities begin to appear, and the version of yourself you once imagined slowly becomes your reality through consistent thought, belief, and action. You are not waiting for the right moment. You are creating it by rewiring the way you think, one decision at a time, one belief at a time, one day at a time. So as you move forward from here, carry this awareness with you. Guard your mind, train your thoughts, and be intentional about the story you tell yourself. Because the life you are building is a reflection of the thoughts you practice daily, and once you take ownership of that process, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Wishing you strength in your journey, clarity in your vision, and the courage to reprogram your mind for the success you truly deserve. Thank you for being here, and I truly hope this message stays with you long after this video ends.